Now I want to talk about the day after that you guys went to Etsy, so January 10th. Do you recall if Mr. Bucks was at work that day?
I don't think he was.
What makes you think that he wasn't?
Cornwell and 3 Mile. So this is where she was last seen. Let's spin it around. This is the house that seen her last. This house right here, you see that camera right there? That's the one that picked Naziah up at the end. Okay? Let's do it so you guys can see. Y'all remember this. This is where the bus stop was. This is where she got off at the bus. Okay? So we see her. Now let me swing this around and we're gonna play her walking. So we can just do our own math for this shit. Because let me tell you something. Everybody in the immediate family has got on my fucking nerves. Straight up. Let me pull this up. Let me find this video of her. Give me a second. It's disgusting how many people failed this baby. Now, let's pull this up. I looked at her flyer, okay? Now let's look at her flyer. Because this just goes to show you how family really don't pay attention like they said. I don't care what nobody say. Y'all can sue me. This is this baby supposedly on the bus, okay? Now, I'm no dummy, okay? I'm no dummy at all. They're saying the shoes that they found was white, red, and black. Those shoes right there that they're showing us, and listen, go to Tootie Uncensored. Because what I'm doing is I'm breaking all of the parts down so you guys can watch it. Because you can't find it correctly. I'm breaking it down for you. Go right over to Tootie Uncensored. You'll be able to see everybody. Now listen, I'm no rocket scientist. Okay? These shoes have a little bit of red in them. All right? I'm not seeing no red in them shoes. Now, y'all told me that's the shoes y'all found of this little girl, and y'all want me to believe that she never went home, okay? But we still got a coat missing, a book bag missing. We still got some jeans missing. And then we got these things that we found, and I'm looking at her on the bus from the last time she's supposed to have been on that bus, and I'm not seeing white, red, and black shoes. Y'all just let me know right now if y'all do, okay? But let's keep going, all right? Now, what we're going to do is this. We're going to go to her video now. Or when she got off the bus.
Time he saw Naziah was weeks before.
Okay. Now let's look again. I'm looking at this right here, and it's no red that's standing out to me. I seen them white, red, and black shoes she had on that they said that they found to this girl's. You feel me? That don't look like that. I can spot red a mile away. I just showed y'all. You feel me? That don't look like red to me. Now let's go ahead and let's keep going back up further a little bit more. Because, see, this stuff right here, I can't stand when a person try to insult my intelligence. This is what I do. I do deep dives and shit. And this thing kept me up. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Now, let's look at her flyer, okay? Because this is all important. This tells me right here that Naziah was last seen wearing a light blue jean shirt, light blue jean pants, pink and white Rugrats coat with the fur on the collar, and blue and white Nike gym shoes. So family, I need y'all to tell me, the ones that wasn't in the house, did not see her, when did she switch her shoes? Because Shannon, you said she never came home. Unless your thick ass was just somewhere not even really paying attention and she did come home. You feel me? Because somewhere, somehow, she changed clothes. How the hell did she get red shoes from blue and white? Because when I look at this picture of her, them look like more like blue and white Nikes than red, white, and black Nikes. I want y'all to go ahead and do this. She did a whole change of clothes. Now, let's be real, y'all. We got to look at this shit from a grown-up perspective. This little girl was smitten by this grown-ass man. It does make sense she would have went home first. We watched it. This girl had sex with this man more in that time frame than I did in my whole life. What we do know is that she said she was going to make sure she waited on him no matter what. So you mean to tell me that this flyer, y'all saying that y'all do all these morning routines, y'all pray in the morning and all some more
should never forget the name Naziah Harris. Now, just take a moment and look at the last photo taken of this child. Naziah Harris was a child. She was 13 years old. Study her face. Look at the light in her eyes. Naziah took this final photo of herself at school January 9th, 2024. She was never seen again. Prosecutors believe she was pregnant. She was brutally murdered. The child's body has never been found. When charges were brought, Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy highlighted this photo in a heartbreaking way.
She is smiling and waving and saying hello. But little did she know that she was really saying goodbye.
The next thing Detroit should never forget is how 36th District Court Judge Aaliyah Sabri at a hearing last week called out many adults in Naziah's life, saying they also failed this child.
From what I have heard over the last 4 days and 5 days total, is that several people failed her. I don't know where her mother is. I don't know anything other than that she was forced to live in a home where she was not protected or given the adequate attention and love.
But Judge Sabri went further about how family members and Detroit also failed this little girl before she even mentioned the name of the man sitting in front of her, Jarvis Butts, the man at the center of a 5-day hearing. Bit by bit, prosecutors here worked to connect the dots that Butts allegedly abused Naziah over a long period of time sexually, allegedly controlled her life. Prosecutors say Butts got Naziah pregnant, and the judge said she believes all of the evidence shows Butts allegedly tried to abort the pregnancy himself. But the judge says she believes Butts injured Naziah and then murdered her.
He intentionally killed her and tried his best to cover it up.
But without finding Naziah's body, investigators focused on Butts, and they had to find his
car on January 9th of 2024,
Yes.
the day Naziah Harris disappeared.
He called and asked if he can use my car to do something with his son.
Was this normal, abnormal?
No, not normal.
Johnson testifying when he brought her car back the next day, Jarvis Butts had left something in the back seat, something believed to belong to Naziah Harris.
There was a pair of glasses that was left that my son was playing with. They were clear and in my son's face. So I told him off. When he take them off, he handed to me, "Oh, Jarvis, are my sunglasses," and he snatches it from my hand.
A shop on Hopper and Connors. I don't know the name of it.
And Ms. Butts, do you remember talking to Detroit police back on February 26th of 2024?
Yes.
And what's the reason that you went and talked to Detroit police?
I had reason to believe that I saw Naziah the day she went missing.
Okay. Tell me about that. What makes you believe that you saw Naziah on the day she went missing?
Where do you want me to start? It's a lot.
So, from the very beginning, where is it that you think you saw Naziah?
At the shop on Harbor and Connors.
Okay, and whose shop is that?
My brother Jarvis Butts and his partner.
Okay. What's the reason you were at your brother's shop that day?
Something was wrong with the car that I was driving, and I just needed him to check it out to make sure it was safe for me to drive.
Okay. Do you recall about what time did you go to Jarvis's shop that day?
About 4 p.m., give or take a few minutes.
Okay, and around what time did you leave?
Somewhere between 6 and 6:30.
Okay. And what is it that you noticed while you were at the shop?
So, it's a car, like garage. So I was sitting outside of the shop in my car because they were working on another car on the inside. As I sat there for the time that I was there, I kept seeing a little girl get in and out of his truck, going to the gas station and going back to his car.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you right there. Whose car are we talking about?
My brother.
Okay, and what kind of car was it?
I believe a Cadillac Escalade.
Okay. Do you remember what color?
Kind of like a pearl white, off white cream color.
Okay, and you described this as a like a 2 garage shop.
Yes.
Okay, and I want to approach with people's Exhibit 7.
Okay.
Now, Ms. Books, do you recognize what is it we're looking at in People's Exhibit 7?
Yes.
Okay, what is that?
That is the shop
Okay.
right in the middle.
And where at were you parked when you saw someone getting in and out of Jarvis's truck?
In front of the car doors of the garage right here, I was parked facing, I don't know what direction it is, but going towards Gratiot. I was like in front, but outside.
Okay, so you were kind of parked parallel with the road.
Yes.
Okay. Can you draw a T where your truck was?
My car?
Yeah, your car was.
Can I?
Yes. And then put an arrow the way you were facing. And where is it where that Jarvis's truck was? Just put a J where Jarvis's truck was. And what way was his truck facing?
It was facing our direction, so the front was towards me.
Towards you. Okay, so put an arrow for that direction. Okay. Thank you. Now,
So random, far away, out of the way of everything else, because they're trying to throw you off the track. That's why I think she's behind that shop. Because it is wooded area back there.
It's a lot of, I mean, it's places where it definitely could have went. And then it looked like it's a lot of abandoned houses over here a little bit too.
Right, but think about it. If she had started to smell back there, no one would have smelt it.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I'm just circling this block to see what's all over here, near this area. Yeah, but like, see, it's shit like this that bothers me. Cause was this checked? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like this bothers me. Because we have to look at these
the
areas.
grandmother and the aunt.
Okay. But you're not sure the exact time?
I'm not sure the exact time.
Was it light or dark outside?
It was still light out.
Okay. And they came up, they pulled the Jaguar in first, the driveway.
Correct.
Right. And then Cordell's car was behind us.
I believe so.
Okay. When they pulled up, did you see them exit the vehicles?
No.
Okay. So you don't know who was driving what?
I don't.
Okay. So at that point, they came into the house, correct?
Correct.
And did they all walk in together? Or
Yes.
Okay, so Cordell came in, followed by Jarvis, correct?
I can't tell you the exact. I don't know if Naziah walked in first or if Jarvis walked in first.
Okay. And this young lady. And to be fair, you didn't know who she was, correct?
Not at all.
Do you recall what she was wearing when she came?
I think she had on a jacket. But I can't really.
Don't recall?
No.
Okay. Do you recall what any of them had on that day?
Not really.
Okay. So, do you recall, without going into your house, was it dark, light in your house? Were the lights on?
The lights were on.
Okay. And you have a fairly large living room?
Yeah.
Okay. So when they came in, you said that Naziah sat next to the television.
So yeah, like if when you're coming in, there's like a red cabinet type thing. The TV sits on top of it, and then there's a chair right, like a chair sitting right next to it, and that's where she was sitting.
Okay. And when she came in, did she introduce herself?
She did not.
Okay. So she came in, sat down, right?
We offered her to see, like, came in, Cordell said hello. He was doing most of the talking. Jarvis said hello. Said, this is my niece. Then was like, y'all have a seat.
Okay.
Cordell sat on the couch. There's a couch this way, and then a long couch this way.
But I'm sorry, go ahead.
And I was just gonna say, I believe that they were both on this couch. Naziah was in the chair, and me and my mom were on the longer couch.
So your mom was there?
Yeah.
Correct? All right. And you all were conversing, correct?
Correct.
And it's fair to say that you weren't conversing with Naziah, correct?
No.
You were conversing with Jarvis. I'm sorry, you were conversing with Cordell.
Cordell and Jarvis about the car and the invoice that they brought.
All right. And you said at some point your son came up and was talking with Naziah?
Correct.
Okay. And how long did this conversation last?
Like all of our conversation?
Right. How long were they there?
Probably between like 30, 45 minutes.
Okay.
Maybe an hour.
And while they were there, you didn't notice anything, and I think you already mentioned this, you didn't notice anything out of the ordinary, correct?
Correct.
Did you see Jarvis Butts conversing with Naziah Harris?
No.
So they didn't have any conversation?
No.
Okay. And you didn't notice anything awkward or out of the ordinary between the two?
Correct.
Okay.
I didn't notice anything.
So after about an hour, they left?
Correct.
Was it light or dark?
It was still fairly light.
All right. And they got into Cordell's car, correct?
Correct.
You don't remember the scene, I think you've already
No,
said
I
that.
do not.
But was Cordell driving?
Correct.
Okay. So that day you didn't think anything out of the ordinary happened, correct?
Correct.
And at some point you were contacted, correct?
Correct.
When were you contacted?
Well, we were contacted by Cordell the next day because when we paid the invoice, it was $70 short. So we had to get Jarvis's cash app to send the rest of the money. So that was the last part of the conversation. And then the detectives came, I want to say the end of March.
So the end of March. So
I believe. I don't know the exact day, but it was at least a month or two later.
And it was when the detectives came, is when you found out that the person that was in your house was Naziah Harris, correct?
Correct.
All right. And did they tell you that this person was Naziah Harris?
They asked me if I knew who she was, and they asked me if I knew who Cordell was. They showed me a picture of Mr. Butts. They asked me if I knew who all these people were. And they asked me if I knew her name, and I did not know her name at that time.
Okay. And they told you her name?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay. And at any point, did you look up why they were there or look up any information about this case?
Yeah, after they left.
After they left?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what did you look up?
Objection relevance.
I just want to see where her information came from.
As long as the results of what she looked up.
I want to see the information that she had. Does that go into her testimony?
Go ahead.
There's obviously there's podcasts out that are a bit unfavorable.
It's not obvious. I don't know.
Okay, you don't know. Okay. What did you look up?
I looked up Mr. Butts' oldest record.
Okay.
But I tried to type in his name. I typed in Cordell's name, tried to see if anything came up. At that time, there wasn't anything posted, but I didn't find much, other than his record.
Okay. Just one more thing.
Phone numbers on
The first one.
And does that refresh your memory?
Yes.
And what were the last 4 digits of Jarvis Butts' phone number?
8719.
At some point after you dropped Jarvis Butts off at the courthouse and he turned himself in, did you go to his place of employment on at 9000 Connors?
No.
Okay. Did you ever talk to his business partner, Cordell Wright?
No.
Okay. I have nothing further to say.
Thank you. Morning, Ms. Davis.
Good morning.
You met Mr. Butts at Frank's Garage, is that right?
Yes.
And that's where Mr. Butts was working about 4 years ago.
Yes.
You were taking your car there?
Yes.
And I think in your words you said you kind of never left after you met him. Is that
Right.
fair to say?
Yes.
You guys got along really well?
Yes.
And you just kind of started a relationship from there?
Yes.
Would you go up to the garage after that relationship started,
Yes.
kind of just to drop in?
Yes.
At any point in time while you were at Frank's Garage, did you ever see any children there?
No.
Is it fair to say that Mr. Butts was very protective of his phone around you?
Yes.
He would never let you see his phone screen?
No.
Wouldn't give you access?
No.
Certainly didn't give you his passcode or anything? In fact, you've actually actively tried to get into his phone, right?
Yes.
I think you had mentioned that when he was sleeping, you tried to kind of wave it in front of him to see if
Yes.
that would unlock it.
Mm-hmm.
You took a picture of his face once and tried to
Yes.
put the screens together. So you wanted to know what was in his phone.
Yes.
And he did not want you to know what was in his phone?
No.
As far as you know?
Mhm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Did you ever talk to him about why he was so secretive with his phone?
Yes.
And does it have something to do with the fact that he was seeing other ladies?
Yes.
And you suspected that at the time?
Yes.
And so that's why you were looking for proof?
Correct.
Okay. So even though you suspected that Mr. Butts was unfaithful to you, you still stayed with him?
Yes.
One reason for that is because he was good with the kids?
Yes.
He cared for your kids?
Yes.
He took them places?
Yes.
He took your son up to the shop?
Yes.
He showed him how to change the oil in the car?
Correct.
And you viewed him as a good father figure?
Yes.
Did you ever see anything inappropriate or that would cause you to see a red flag with regard to him and your children?
No.
Did you ever see him acting inappropriately with any other children?
No.
Certainly if you had, you would not have allowed him in your house.
Oh,
fair to say?
absolutely not.
You knew that Mr. Butts had other children, right?
Yes.
With a woman named Angel?
Yes.
And a woman named Shannon?
Yes.
He talked about his children with you?
Yes.
Did he ever talk to you about his niece?
No.
About how often would Mr. Butts stay with you on any given week?
Maybe like twice.
Were they like the same days or was it random?
Random.
Okay. About what time would he come over?
After his work hours. After like 6 o'clock.
Okay, so you think he would come kind of straight from work?
No, he would probably do something else and then be there later on in the night.
Okay, so closer to like 9, 10?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Would he stay the night with you?
Till about 2 o'clock in the morning, 3, and then he would leave.
Okay. Do you know how he would get to your home?
A couple of times he was in a white truck, a white Cadillac truck. Sometime I would
I think he would walk. If he was coming straight from the shop, he would walk. Or if he had my truck, that's how we would get back and forth.
And that's the Suburban?
Yes.
Did you know Mr. Butts to ever have his own vehicle?
Yes. He had a white Chrysler truck, van like.
Okay. And when did you know him to drive that?
Like maybe the first 2 years when we were together.
Okay. Now, when Mr. Butts would come visit you, would he park in your driveway?
Yes.
Would he spend weekends with you also?
Yes.
1 second. I don't have anything else, thank you.
Ms. Davis, I just have a couple more questions for you. Ms. Quick asked you about Mr. Butts being secretive with his phone. Can you tell me about a time that you had a conversation with him about him being secretive or something like that?
He would never really say anything. He talked in circles. So if you try to ask him a question, it's just always, you can never get a straight answer out of him.
But fair enough, you had multiple conversations about his phone and your access to it, I guess, or,
Yes.
or lack thereof.
Yes.
And Ms. Quick also asked you about Mr. Butts staying over the night, or staying the night at your house. You said that he would leave around 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Do you know where he would go when he would leave?
No.
Did he ever tell you where he was going?
Home.
Did you know where he himself called home?
Yes.
Where was that at?
Wilshire.
And you said he would walk from his place of employment if he was coming straight from there, right?
Yes.
How far from that on Connors, the auto shop on Connors, do you live? How far of a walk?
No, that was when he was on Warren.
Warren and Neff?
Yes.
How far of a walk from that location?
Like 4 blocks.
And did you ever see him drive but not park in your driveway or out front of your house? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
He parked around the corner and he would walk to my house.
And do you know
He was in the white Cadillac truck.
You said Cadillac?
Yes.
Oh. Was that an Escalade? If you know.
I don't know.
Okay. And do you know the reason why he would park around the corner?
I don't know. I asked and he would just be like, I didn't drive.
But then would you see his truck?
I would see the truck.
You have one more, George?
Yes.
One last question. You said he lived or called home on Wilshire?
Yes.
Have you ever been to that house?
Yes.
Have you ever been inside that house?
No.
No, I agree with that. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Davis, you are done testifying. Watch your step. I'm not going to instance.
Court proceedings that have been going on this week when the teacher or substitute teacher testified that the last day was, I presume it was the last day that Neziah was in school. She came in her room. Apparently this particular sub had a rapport with Neziah. She would give her candy every day or something like that. And she would come in her room and talk to her. And the lady said that Neziah laid on the floor and said she needs to see a counselor. But it so happened that the counselor never came in that day. And so, and of course,
obviously, because they didn't know none of this was going on, but all of it was happening on Shannon's phone.
And let me say this. She was absolutely looking for attention. You know what? And today, was it today or yesterday? I believe it was today. They said in those text messages, she was constantly asking, am I ugly? Do you think I'm pretty? Well, let me tell you, she always felt ugly. she had very low self-esteem, and I was the one, you know, I would always say, "You are beautiful." That's how I gave her the nickname Pretty Eyes, because her nickname from her mom is Tuda, and then we also call her
Hey,
Zion.
Nana, can I stay after school? Well, she would call one of her TTs, "Hey, TT, can I stay after school?" So that wasn't like her. So I'm really frustrated now. So now I go back to the house and I'm talking to my daughter, Shannon.
And I want to stop you right there because I don't want to go into what anybody else said.
Okay.
But you went back to the school. Nobody was at the school. You went back to the house. Neziah is still not there, correct?
Correct.
Did you go back out looking for her after that?
I did.
Okay. Where did you go looking?
I was driving around in the neighborhood, everywhere. I'm just looking, just like hoping I'll see her, you know.
We have one moment,
Harris. The 13-year-old went missing after getting off the school bus on January 9th. A former co-worker testifying he was with Butts on that day, and so was Harris.
My son's grandma asked who the little girl was.
Did you introduce the little girl?
No,
Okay, who introduced the little girl?
Jarvis did.
And what did Jarvis introduce her as?
His niece.
The witness testifying he left Butts and Harris at the auto shop where they worked that night, and Butts didn't come to work the next day.
Have you seen her since January 9th, 2024?
No.
Prosecutors allege Butts had gotten 13-year-old Neziah Harris pregnant and killed her, and there was additional testimony from minors that he molested other children.
They got in her butt cheeks and then all over her body. She was 8 years old, but she also said that she knew it was wrong.
Prosecutors also played a recording of Butts from behind bars, calling his friend, asking him to contact the mother of his children, Neziah's aunt, to try to retrieve his cell phone.
I need you to call her one day and get my phone out of that backseat for me.
The witness testifying he looked for the cell phone but couldn't find it. Prosecutors say the information on that phone will help prove their case, that Butts groomed Harris, had sex with her, and searched for ways to abort the unborn baby. In Detroit, Amy Lang, Fox 2 News.
So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.